Did you know that if you look at the National Transportation Board, 100 people die a day from car accidents?
100
So
people
that means
a day?
100 people a day. So that means since I got my license, 1.7 million people have died in car accidents, right?
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that? And
I would have thought it would have been higher.
Yeah, what pisses me off is California went back down into the strictest lockdown again in my county, right? Orange County.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's not, when we first started this thing, I've gone over this time and time again with you. When we first started this, it was flatten the curve, right? And you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah,
right?
I bought into that.
They brought in the hospital ships into LA and the San Francisco from the Army and everything else. And we flattened the curve. There wasn't much of a curve, but we flattened it. Yeah. Then it was like the deaths. You have to be worried about the deaths. People are dying. They're dying, right? and then it's like respirators. Oh my God! Everyone needs to make respirators. We're desperate need of respirators.
Yeah,
right?
None of them were used,
of course,
by the way.
Yeah, none of them are used. And then it's like the hospital ships go, the deaths plummet, and now the thing is we have to keep people safe. We have to keep people safe. I go, people are going to get sick. This thing's not going away.
Right.
California has been in shutdown since March, right?
Right.
It's killing us.
Yeah.
It really is. You get Silicon. The problem with California is too big, because Northern California is no problem because it's all Silicon Valley stuff. They're all based at home. Southern California is entertainment based. You get Hollywood, the amusement parks, the zoos, and everything else, and it's killing us down here. But they don't care up there.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't understand when people want to break up the state. They're like, oh, no, we have to keep the state intact. No, we don't. Because
they're not interested in keeping the state intact.
No. Yeah. Southern California hates Northern California. Northern California hates Southern California. And Central California people hate everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. I'm just tired of this fucking
I don't care about that stuff. What bothers me is people are going to start, like if they do another lockdown, what people didn't realize is, I'm sorry, but I remember like in June, my son wanted a bike. Yeah. Okay. And so we went out to try to find him a new bike, and there were none. And there were none because all bikes are made in China, and China had been locked down. So they weren't making bikes. That's what happened with toilet paper and Lysol and all this stuff, bleach. There was nobody making it because they were locked down. So if we do another 4 to 6 weeks lockdown, we're not going to get our stuff.
Which they say America has a pile of money to pay everybody for it, by the way.
Then I don't care about paying for it. I want the people to produce the things that we need. Yeah. We need food. We need meat. We need all this shit. 6 weeks. What are we supposed to do? Fucking buy baked beans like a goddamn militia? Yeah. Like, again, and people would say, yes, but this is ridiculous. I mean, I think this is being done to us. I don't think this has anything to do with saving lives or anything like that. I think they're deliberately doing this to do this to us. And there's some kind of new world order or something like that they're trying to establish. They called it the Great Reset. Yeah,
because you look at it. My wife's from Beijing, China, communist China, and she grew up during the Cultural Revolution in the mid '60s.
Right.
And the Gavin Newsom guy, he's putting all these restrictions on us as governor, and then he attended this big fancy party, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't have done that." Yeah. It's like, yeah, well, we know what happens. The rules don't apply to you guys.
No, they never do.
They never do.
Go watch the video. Go watch the video of the reporter questioning Governor Pritzker in Illinois, because during the lockdowns, his wife went down to Florida to vacation because there were no lockdowns down there. Yeah. And so this reporter asked him during a press conference, why was it okay for your wife to go to Florida and break the travel restrictions? And he goes, and he acts all like indignant. And he goes, it's been my understanding that family is not involved in in this, and attacks on my family are not something that the media does. You should be ashamed of yourself for asking that question. And it's, it's like my ex-wife. You say something, that you're mad about, and then she turns it back on you. Like it's, like you're the asshole. Well, I know you're upset about that, but what about me?
I remember our Governor Newsom, he called his wife his first partner.
Oh, God.
I thought that was so funny.
I hate when people use that term, partner. I hate that. I'm hearing it more and more.
Partner? Yeah, I know. Me too. My partner.
It's your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and
your wife or your husband. It's a very simple thing. Partner. It's my partner.
Partner. My partner.
On my Twitter feed yesterday, I got a recommended feed from Joe Biden saying congratulations to the space people for a successful launch, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I've never gotten a recommended feed by President Trump, ever, right? No. And my Twitter feed. There is no way their AI can possibly think that I'm a Biden fan or want anything to do with Joe Biden. But I got a recommended tweet from Joe Biden yesterday.
This is all being done to us. And you and I have had this discussion in the past about AIs. AIs only benefit those that program them. They don't benefit me. There's some benefits, I guess, again, like free Gmail, a free Gmail account benefits me. I now have an email address I don't have to pay for. But they're harvesting the data from it.
I can tweak an AI any way I want to. Remember, AI is not done by a computer. It's done by people.
Right. It's trained like a dog.
I can tweak it however I feel like it, however I want to.
Including morality. They can put their morality in there. Because again, like and I've discussed this, and I know you're not a religious guy or anything like that. And I'm not a religious guy, but I do believe in God, and I grew up in Sunday school and all that. But if you're tweaking an AI to say there is no God, or even let's say you go worse, Satan is God. Yeah. What's the AI going to learn? Yeah. Like what direction is it going to go into? And there are people like, look at what's going on with Trump supporters today. They regularly and routinely call us Nazis. So if the AI is being told that if they're a Trump supporter, they're a Nazis, and go back in history AI through the internet and look at what the Nazis were, what is that going to do to me?
In this Nazi thing, go around and look for, right? Yeah. You'll see it defaced or pulled up regularly. Mm-hmm. But you look at a Biden sign, and they're defaced.
Pristine. They're in beautiful
they're nice and clean.
Election. Do you see any cities burning because Trump supporters are pissed? No. Yeah. They go down to D.C. this weekend. They go down to D.C. and have a very peaceful, hundreds of thousands of people there.
No ABC said there were thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, thousands. Yeah.
Thousands of people.
See, that's how they do it. That's how they do it. And they can't say, well, that's factually accurate. There were several thousands of people, And that's how people. That's why people don't know how to read the news. Yeah. They don't see. I read this article the other day that this woman sent to me about Trump charging Eric Trump, the Trump company, Trump Incorporated, charging Eric Trump's foundation that he set up for cancer research. And they were charging him for his use of Trump golf courses and Trump hotels and stuff for events that they would have. And they're like, see, Trump doesn't care about this. It came out on the heels of the Biden thing where Biden set up that cancer thing, and literally not a single penny of it went to research. It all went to executive.
Literally not a single penny.
And not a single penny. Yeah. And so they tried to equivocate that. But if you read that Forbes article, it's a really long article. And if you read it, you don't get to the very last paragraph says, Eric Trump's organization has done great work. They put in a new intensive care unit at St. Jude's Hospital, and they've contributed millions of dollars to a rare form of cancer research. But the whole other article is, Trump made $300,000 on golf courses. Big deal. Yeah. The guy raised, I think at the beginning of the article, I may be wrong, but at the beginning of the article, somebody said, the article said that Eric Trump's foundation had raised like $11 million. And they're squawking about $300,000. And now, again, this is like the Susie Komen fund. You know the Susie Komen breast cancer thing? I saw this woman that ran a breast cancer charity, and she gets nothing. She gets nothing for contributions, but Susie Komen gets millions. But Susie Komen, if you look at it, it's breast cancer awareness. It's not breast cancer research. It's breast cancer awareness. So what they do is they take that money that you give them and they spend it on Chinese-made bracelets and bumper stickers and posters for 5K runs and all the things that have to be set up, the stands and signage and all that stuff at 5K runs. But none of it goes to research. And this woman came out and she was like, I run an actual thing that's trying to find a cure to cancer. And she goes, I can't get anything. It's all being sucked up by Susie Komen, the NFL, wearing their pink shit all the time. They're not giving any money to this. Charities, that's why I don't give to charity, like when you go to the supermarket and stuff. And I'm like, this is all a scam. Ronald McDonald has, from what I understand, they do pretty good with that, So I'll help out with that. But yeah,
we have a Families First, literally right across the street from us, right?
What is that?
Every Family First is like food donation stuff. For poor families, right?
Yeah.
And I go out to lunch. At lunchtime, I have to go for a drive every day just to get out of the building. In between 11 and 1, they're giving out food, right? These cars in the line are better than my car, right? That's what kind of drives me crazy. And it's like, I get it. Everybody needs help. But we should all prepare for bad times. You don't buy a Mercedes if you have a razor-thin salary. Or if you can afford it, you probably shouldn't buy it because it's a Mercedes. It's not like a Chevy or something like that. It's an expensive car, even if it's on a lease, and then they realize if they lose one paycheck, they're in deep doo-doo because they overextended themselves because they could afford a Mercedes, but they couldn't really afford a Mercedes.
Right.
And it's like, not everyone has a car. Sometimes you have to drive around in a shit box. There's no doubt about it. Right. But instead, these Audis and these brand new Toyota Priuses and everything else in this food line, and look at these people, and I don't feel sorry for them. I feel angry at them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm the one that has to pay for this in the long run because you know how cheap I am. I'm a tight-fisted. You know how I am. Yeah. But cautious. I'm very cautious because in the past we've had bad times.
Right.
So I've always prepared for that. Always, always, always. Just in case something bad happens, we can weather the storm without having to do anything major.
There's no reason for anybody in this country to be living in tent cities like you have in LA, San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. And they're starting one in my town. Did I send you the picture of that yet?
No, you didn't send me the picture.
Yeah, they're starting at this new memorial park that they built, and it's got like, a area where like bands can play and stuff in the summertime and everything, and they're starting a tent city over there, and nobody's doing anything about it. I thought it was just maybe one day, but I've been there for 3 days in a row. The guy's there, he lives there now, and it's full of heroin addicts. They're all up there, and they go up
that's what they are. We had the same thing in Anaheim, across from Anaheim Stadium where the California Angels play. And along there's like a runoff for the river, and all along that river there was a huge tent city, and there's tents and everything else. Literally, there were hundreds of people there. Yeah. And what happens is it was right next to a bike walk thing. You ride your bike down, and whenever you rode your bike down there, people were yelling at you, throwing shit at you. There's needles everywhere. Yeah. Until they finally cleaned it out. They would do a construction project there, right? They cleaned out the place, and it took them months to clean it up because of all the used needles around.
Right.
It was ridiculous. It's not these homeless people. They've lost their job. They're living in the thing. No, it's drug addicts and alcoholics.
Yes. Unlike poor countries, like really like Venezuela and these genuinely poor countries where these people that are poor don't have a choice. There is no opportunity for them. There is in this country. When you're born, as soon as you turn, 6 years old, you are allowed to start going to school. In fact, it's by law, you're required to start going to school. And So these people that are like, somebody brought this up the other day. I was listening to an interview, and he's like, the United States is the only place where our most poverty-stricken people are there really by choice. Now, again, there will be people come out and go, they don't have a choice. They started the race with handcuffs on their feet and all this stuff. There are plenty of programs to help you get your shit together. And I had this woman that was in the car. She was a grad student at BU. And I picked her up at the Boston City Hall, and I was taking her back to BU. And it was in July, and not this July, but last July. And I said, what are you going? Yeah, I thought school was done, because she was a student. And she goes, oh, I'm a grad student. I said, oh, what are you doing? She goes, I work on a program for the city. And she goes, actually, it was, I think, the state. And she goes, and we're trying to figure out why people that are entitled to social programs here in Massachusetts aren't taking them. Yeah. They're trying to find people to take this. So these people that you see standing on the streets with their signs, first of all, they're making, if you get the right corner, you're making $15-20 an hour. You are. Like, there's a place in Cambridge, and they're all moonbats in Cambridge. And these people fight for that spot because there were all these people in their Audis going back to Lexington and Arlington and all this stuff with their money. And they see the homeless person, and they want to be able to go home and say, I gave a homeless person some money today. Gave him a $5. And they feel all good about themselves for this. And the guy's got nicer sneakers than I do. And I literally mean that. My sneakers, I can't afford to buy new sneakers, every year. Like, I suppose I could, but, I got to watch how I spend my money. And so again, our homeless person is ridiculous. But this COVID thing, back to the COVID thing, I'm sick of it. I really am. Did you hear this woman? There's this woman that was on MSNBC the other day. She said, nurse at an emergency room in South Dakota. And she can't believe the nightmare. She calls it a horror movie that never ends.
They're overwrought.
And she goes, and these people are holding my hand, clutching my hand as they're dying because their families can't be there. Thanks, governor, and mayors and whatever. And the families can't be there for them. And they're all people that didn't believe in COVID. And they're saying, as they're holding my hand, as they're dying, they're saying, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is a hoax. I can't believe it. You know what she's doing? First of all, she's shitting on dying people on national television. She's shitting on her patients. But here's the thing. This guy started doing some research on this woman and where she works. Currently at the hospital where she works, there are 6 people that are in the hospital for COVID and only 1 in ICU. They're not dying. In her county that she lives in, total number of deaths since COVID broke out, 1. 1 death. She's fucking lying. And I'm seeing these articles coming out every day in my Twitter feed going, a school teacher, he got COVID, 2 days later is dead, and now the school is trying to explain to the children how their favorite teacher died. And it's like, and if you read the article, and I keep saying this, but people don't believe me, but it's the last paragraph. It's family still doesn't have an official cause of death from the hospital, but we still have to be careful for COVID. Oh, I'm so sick of this.
I'm so sick of it. Hey, I got to go wrap up some computers. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.